What's up everyone? Alex here. It's been quite a while since the last backlog wrap-up, so I thought it was about time to bring it back. This is a video series where I get to share some of the games that I've played that I wasn't able to talk about on the channel, and it's also a great opportunity for you to share and discover what the rest of the community has been playing in the comments. Since it's been months since the last wrap-up, I want to focus on the games that I spent a good deal of time with. But before we do that, I want to thank Frictional Games, Xseed, CD Projekt Red, and Playism for providing the games mentioned in this video. And if you like JRPGs, Japanese niche games, and more, please leave a like, comment, then subscribe to the channel. All that said, let's get right to it. Amnesia Rebirth. I've never played a game in the Amnesia franchise, so I wanted to try Amnesia Rebirth to see what it was all about. With how the opening scenes were designed, it was taking me a good bit of time to understand how the game expected me to play it, especially with the lack of tutorials and available resources when compared to more traditional games in the genre. I felt lost, as I tried to feel my way through the dark, which is probably the feeling it was supposed to evoke. But this slowly turned into frustration, as I felt as though I wasn't gaining any meaningful progression. Not every game can be built with approachability in mind, but there are things designers can do to ease players in, regardless of their affinity, or lack thereof, towards the series. That said, I've put the game back in the backlog for now, and will most likely try out previous Amnesia games instead, to see if those will give me more clarity as to what Rebirth expected me to do. Story of Seasons: Pioneers of Olive Town. I've been looking forward to sinking my teeth into a Story of Seasons game for a long time now, and Story of Seasons: Pioneers of Olive Town came out at just the right time. Its developers mentioned that they took a lot of inspiration from games like Stardew Valley when making this game, but there was a good bit of tedium that was thrown into the mix thanks to how the maker systems were implemented. Graphically, the game looks great and very pleasant to look at, and I absolutely love taking pictures of the roaming animals in my farm. This game hasn't exactly sold me on the series yet, but I'm looking forward to the day when, after its devs release their promised updates, I can come back to it with a fresh new perspective. Cyberpunk 2077. What hasn't been said about Cyberpunk 2077? We all know about its buggy launch and its quality on consoles, and to be frank, I probably should have read the writing on the wall when I didn't receive my console review code until the actual day of release. There was so much writing on this game for me that I tried multiple times to really get into it, repeatedly leaving and restarting the game for weeks, even months on end, just to give the game multiple shots. This only made me want to replay through Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which is yet another cyberpunk game that, while it lacked a satisfying conclusion, made the whole experience of existing in a futuristic world interesting and compelling to dig in and explore. That said, I haven't totally given up on Cyberpunk 2077 yet. Maybe later down the line, I'll be able to appreciate it, separate from the myriad of problems it had at launch. Nocia. Nocia is a Switch port of an old Vita game released in 2019, and this too came out in March. A lot of people have been comparing this to Zeroscape when it comes to its mysteries, but I believe that the better way to describe it is a procedurally based game of werewolf. While it's billed as a visual novel, it's more focused on its gameplay, especially in the first few hours, than fully engaging with storytelling. In fact, if you missed the hint that you probably should have read its massive digital manual, then you might have missed a page that says that the first several rounds of the game are mere tutorials, and that your actions have little effect on their outcome. From what I gathered, this huge manual used to be an FAQ found on the developer's website, and I think players would have appreciated it more if these elements were incorporated into the gameplay, given that a chunk of the beginning was dedicated to teaching the player its vocabulary. Sadly, I found out about this a bit too late, and by the time I got around to it, more games that needed my attention were coming down the pipeline fast. So if you're picking up Nocia, spend the time to read the manual once it unlocks. It'll help you immensely. Greedfall. Alongside playing Trials of Mana over the winter break, one other game that captured my attention was Greedfall. Many recommended this game to me with the notion that this reflected much of what they loved about BioWare's older titles, and I can definitely see why. There's a rich, beautiful world to explore here, along with an overarching plot that slowly builds up as you progress through the game. Your character is also in a very unique position in that you're a diplomat to a bunch of different settlers and natives on a newly colonized island, so it makes a lot of sense to try and be careful with the things you say, as these choices feel like they matter a ton more. The battle system is a nice blend of action and tactical combat, allowing you to pause the action to assess what's happening on the field, which will be familiar to fans of BioWare's games. I would have loved to talk more about Greedfall in a full review, but I think what I've said here captures how enjoyable the experience is, despite how dark the game can get. And that's all the other games that I've played over the past few months. Now, the rest is up to you. Post your thoughts in the comments below and share what you've played over the past few months. Then, check out what others are playing in the comments. I'll be checking everyone's comments alongside you, and I'm looking forward to learning about other games through your input. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you online.